So the opinions and views expressed in this podcast are that of our own and the Future Bachelor podcast only, and not affiliated with any outside party or entity or anything like that. This fun podcast, though, may include some adult language.
Future Bachelor Podcast.
Yeah, come on. I want to give you some good loving. All right, let's start the show, V. Welcome to Future Bachelor. My name is Sai.
I'm Veronica.
And this is episode 76. Yeah!
So weird.
I know it is. I don't know what it is. Like, the
70s feel like they just feel like they're washing over us.
Right.
Like we were like so hyped to hit 69 for obvious reasons, and I feel like I'm like, what did this family of 70 numbers? Like, what even are those?
Right. I feel like it's like still like really close to 100, but we're actually still like pretty far away. Like think about it, we're at 76 right now. That's 24 weeks until we hit 100.
Yeah.
So, but I'm enjoying it. Now I feel like we're in a stride now.
The journey,
yeah,
know?
I'm not really counting at the moment.
It's not about the it's about the journey.
Speaking of the journey, I had to start off with a vibe. Turn Your Lights Down Low by Marley and the Wailers, featuring Miss Lauryn Hill.
Fun fact.
What?
My father, who is like, I'm like my dad. Like I wouldn't say I'm like uptight, but I'm like decently straight edge, kind of like buttoned up at kind of person. And my dad is very much so that, and like he's very like, my mom is the like fun one. My dad's fun, but my mom's like the fun one. And he has a tie-dye Bob Marley shirt that he wears all the time.
Oh, do you shirt shame him?
No.
Yeah.
Because it's like his pajama shirt.
Oh, okay.
So,
but he doesn't like wear it out once in a while just because he likes it.
We try to make him wear it out with like when we go to Lollapalooza, because we're like, Dad, this is like the perfect shirt for for family Lollapalooza day. Like, come on. And he like won't do it.
Maybe, I mean, he's old school probably, where he doesn't want to promote like the lifestyle that Bob Marley.
Yeah, but like, okay. Then.
I could understand. But yeah, I don't know. I just feel like, it's been like a good week. It's just been one of those weeks where
also I just feel like we're both like not that we aren't like,
summer's winding down. Hot girl summer is winding down.
It's winding down. I feel like we're both like not like we're kind of in a funk. We're both just like kind of like in muddled places in our brains right now.
I can't really explain it, but that song made me feel good. It just put me in a vibe. So speaking of our lives, how's everything been going for you, V?
Good. I did a little staycation for Labor Day instead of going to New York.
Same. It was probably safer to stay around here than to go anywhere with traveling and stuff. And
traveling and also
Dorian scare.
Dorian is like, I mean, but like we might get some like storms from Dorian, but like not much. I mean, because we're so inland. But I did like a pool day with my friend Morgan, and then we like went out to the Inman bars with our friends Reggie and everybody there. We pretty much I
thought we were gonna hang out this weekend.
I know, but the one night that I probably would have hung out, I was drunk by 11:30 because we had been at the pool all day.
Yeah, I ended up passing out at PG's. So it was like one of those lazy
nights.
That's
like, because I was trying to like get with you guys, and he's like, okay, well, like John was texting me like, okay, well, we're like, I'm changing and heading to Paul's, and then I'm like, okay, I'm at Hampton and Hudson in Inman Park, and then we were like double fisting tequila waters, and then we're dancing at Hampton and Hudson, and then both, I think Morgan and I just kind of looked at each other at one point, and like I had been drinking at the pool and Morgan really hadn't. I had like pretty much a full bottle of wine and a tumbler and a White Claw, and then we went and got dinner at Ponce and had 2 beers and a shot of bourbon, and then we went and had our tequila waters. So I was like, already, sun exhausted and drunk, and we both like kind of looked at each other at like 11:30, and we're like, maybe, or like 11 or so, and we're like, maybe we should go home.
Yeah, I mean, I had a couple like long nights back to back, and they just keep going.
Well, and then because
every time I feel like I can catch up, something else pops up. Not like it's anybody's fault or anything like that. It's just like something's always happening. It feels like.
Well, yeah, I mean, like, because Sunday night I went to bed early because then I went on the boat on Monday, and I had to be there at Lake Allatoona, which is like an hour away. Yeah. At 8:30.
Wow.
So I went to bed early.
One of those. I remember that day. I almost died. last time I went up there.
Yeah, and that was like a full 2 hours later. So.
Yeah. So I mean, I pretty much hung out over at Chef John Mark's new place, and we did barbecues for Labor Day. We did some pooling. We went to the Battery with a whole group of people and stuff. So we went everywhere. And then I just wanted to get a quick shout out the way at the top. My boy Sergio, he just started a new clothing line called A Beautiful Struggle, and I'm wearing the shirt right now. What do you think?
Yeah.
Check it out, peeps.
I said that it's going to be a nice addition to your black shirt rotation.
I love black tees.
So that it's not just give me some mo.
Yeah. So
give me some mo options.
Right. Oh, give me some mo. Sergio and I met through like a college friend. We made songs together, and now he's starting his clothing line. I think it's I wanted to shout out the Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. It's ABS Clothing Line, at ABS Clothing Line. And if you want to cop any of this gear, make sure you grab it at absclothingline.com. And I just wanted to read this because it's just like the Bob Marley song.
It's just good.
It looks like their mission statement here. It's like a nice little packaging and tag that came in. But it was like, I would like to venture to say that at worst and even at best, this thing we call life is a beautiful struggle.
Damn.
A beautiful struggle.
A beautiful struggle. I agree. And I don't think you're living unless like there's some conflict, not like conflict, but like life is all about solving problems.
Right.
Like little, big, small, like everything you're doing is like you're trying to solve something for yourself. Like every single, like think about it. Like even if you want to really, like when you're taking a shower, you're solving the problem of being dirty. Like you're solving problems all day long.
Yeah. You just how big you build them up in your head.
Yeah.
And actually that's been like kind of like what's been going on in my life. It's like, why think about like all the problems of like the next day or next week or whatever.
# living with anxiety. Welcome to my brain literally all the time.
So yeah, I think this sounds like we had this conversation, but it's a matter of just like, solving the problem at hand and then moving on to the next task. Yeah. And that's life. And then also like, people are always like thinking about their destination. Like, where like, I just need to get this amount of money, this house, this car, this girl, like whatever it is. But really, at the end of the day, when you can look back on your life and the only things that you appreciate is really like the amount of work and like the struggle you went through. Like I always say that like your highs can't be high without like the lows, like right? Without knowing, you can't know what a high feels like without feeling lows. Yeah. So like the whole thing is like a beautiful struggle. So I thought it was dope, and so shout out to Sergio for his clothing line, and make sure you guys go cop that gear. You're going to see me rocking it a lot. So, you know me, I love my clothes. But, I mean, with that being said, you doing all right, V? We doing all right?
Yeah, I'm doing fine.
Think we can move in some quick hits?
Yeah, let's catch a freaking plane.
Let's get it. Quick hits! Let's go! What do we got, some quick hits?
All right. I'm going to start with Lizzo because I want to.
Okay.
So she did a remix of her song Truth Hurts with DaBaby, who he's really hot right now.
Yeah,
I like
honestly,
his
one of the
really
songs that I've been listening to like over and over again this past weekend is
Suge?
No, well, it's him, and it's Little Baby and DaBaby, right?
Yes.
They're like both like different rappers, but they rap together. Yeah, but yeah. So what happened with?
So there was the Made in America festival in Philly, and so Lizzo had a performance there, and DaBaby came out and they performed their remix of Truth Hurts together, and she like was twerking on him and like grinding on him, which like she's known for twerking, she's known for it all, and she's a big girl, but like she's known for like being one of the most like confident, I don't even want to just say body confident because like that's whatever, but like she's just like
love yourself,
confident and like just out there like doing her thing, self-love, doing everything, like a very good inspiration for women and men everywhere. Yeah. And she like put up the video of it, or picture, and she put up both, and being like big fat girl fall energy. So like, we had hot girl summer, and now everybody's like getting back into the grind of fall, so we might be getting a little squishier. We might be like whatever. So like she's like calling it like fat girl fall, which like it's a big thing I feel like in the like plus size community. I don't even know like how to else put it, like that like a lot of like people have been like reclaiming fat, like to be like, what, like fat is like something that is like on us, a part of us, whatever. Like like we shouldn't be doing like a negative connotation for stuff like that. And even like Lizzo's been very much so in the whole like, why are we gonna like talk about like thin is the only kind of body shape people should have, and that fat is something that people should like go away from. Like it's just like you should be healthy, and like a lot of people are healthy if they're fat, but
yeah, I feel like that's like the argument I see a lot like online would be like, well, why don't you just like, or like, you know, you'll see like these like ads on like Instagram and stuff that are like these body shaper, like, you know, like Spanx type stuff, but they do it for men too. And like every time the comments are like, or you could just like diet a little bit and go to the gym. And it's like, this is like the argument like between, you know, people that want to live healthy lives and people that are just like proud to be who they are. And, you know, I think there's like a balance in that, you know what I'm saying? You know, you have to want to, you know, just being unhealthy and being comfortable with that, you know, it can be kind of detrimental to yourself. But like, you know, I don't know. I just think it's an interesting like topic conversation. Like, you know, what do you value, I guess, in life? And you have the choice of valuing like, you know, I'm going to be proud of like this, and like, you know, there could be health issues that come with that, or you live like forever, or you just are the type of person that like, you know, is very like, why don't you just be healthy and be happy who you are. And stuff,
and like, you know? Healthy like looks different for everybody. Like, I mean, I have friends that have even like thyroid conditions and stuff, and they're always going to be heavier just because like that's how that's going to look like for them. And I have friends that different, you know, medications like for mental health things that they need to take to live their lives fully, that like help make them feel much better, like made them gain a little bit of weight. And like that's something
I've heard people like say that about like birth control or something.
Oh yeah, I mean, yes,
they'll be like,
birth control,
my boobs.
I mean, birth control can do so much. That's why it's such bullshit that they like didn't do like a men's one, because they're like, well, there's too many side effects. And I'm like, oh, weird.
We can't have things messing with our penises.
Yeah, God forbid. God forbid. And women just live with all the consequences all the time.
I wanted to correct myself because it wasn't the Baby I've been listening to. It's Little Baby and Gunna. Those are the two.
Little Baby and Gunna. Yeah.
But how can I like everyone's named Baby now? So.
I know everyone is. But Lizzo also, you know, she had that, and this week she hit #1 for the Billboard Top 100 with Truth Hurts, which for everybody's reminder is a 2017 song that she just like is really doing great with, because I feel like it's just like of the time right now where everyone's like, yeah, like I'm feeling myself, I'm doing my thing, I'm like being like, she just brings such light into the world that can be so dark. But she joins Beyonce, Rihanna, Janelle Monáe, and Cardi B as the only black women in the past decade to hold that #1 spot.
Wow, that's pretty incredible.
Isn't that kind of wild?
Give her a round of applause right there. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Lizzo.
That's wild.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that what concert was just happening this past weekend? It was the Budweiser one, the America one.
Yeah, it was I literally just read it. It was whatever of America.
Yeah, I forgot what it was called. Yeah. But they're all performing at it, and obviously Jay-Z runs that show.
Yeah, and Beyonce was there, and Beyonce was like in the wings of like the Lizzo show, like because Lizzo posted a picture of it being all like, the queen saw my performance.
That's pretty crazy.
And plus they celebrated Beyonce. It's Bay Day, the day that we're recording right now, September 4th. And so they celebrated her birthday there, and people were trying to, speaking of Fat Girl Fall, people were trying to like speculate that Beyonce might be pregnant again because they saw like some pictures that made her look kind of like pregnant.
They were saying that about Rihanna too.
But that's also, people said that about Rihanna when she gained a little bit of weight like 3 years ago.
She looked like she'd been getting a little thickums though.
Yeah, like
good thickums.
Yeah, like Rihanna's is like thick Rihanna now, and like Beyonce might be kind of like thicker Beyonce, because I was talking to my friend Ashley, who is like a proclaimed Beyonce, like she is like a very beehive, very whatever, and I was like, what are your thoughts on these rumors? And she's like, I think it's just thick Beyonce season, and she's like, you know, that lady ain't trying to have another, like go through another birth, like it was like,
so they're one and done.
I mean the fact that she even had Blue Ivy was like a miracle, and the fact that she had twins was a miracle. Like she had like a miscarriage, and she was being told twins. And she's being told that she was never going to be able to like have kids again.
Yeah, that's right.
So,
what else we got?
So Kevin Hart. So I don't really know that much about it, but he had a big accident that took place over this past weekend and had like a bunch of injuries and is like not doing like super hot.
Yeah, I mean, I think that everything's like been successful. Like, I think he had to be like rushed into like emergency surgery.
Yeah, I'm like
stuff,
looking at the pictures of this like of the accident, like what happened to the cars.
Yeah.
And like it's surprising that he even made it out of that.
I mean, that's it's just a huge major setback for anyone that gets like hurt, like, you know. But I think it might have been some speeding and like driving and stuff, and you know, you got a nice whip, you're just speeding around.
Yeah, you're just doing it. But so he's gonna be like in like, you know, rehab, like physical therapy and all that
for
jazz.
Like months, yeah.
For a long time, which like that is a big. I mean, like I felt like he was starting to gain momentum again, especially after like some of the like tweet scandals he had, like maybe earlier or whatever. Well,
I mean, he's been low key. He's been like, I think, working on Jumanji 2 and those type of things. But yeah, I mean, it sucks for a person like that. For someone, he's like on Instagram like every day posting him in the gym and all that shit.
He does all that stuff.
I'm sure he's like super bummed, man. So you know, hopefully a speedy recovery to him. Yo, did you see the new Harley Quinn trailer yet?
No, I need
you haven't
to
seen it?
Watch it because like I love Harley Quinn.
Yeah, no, I mean, what I was seeing about it, because they just released the Joker trailer.
Yeah, which that looks dark as hell.
Right.
Want to see it, but dark as hell.
Yeah. They have the Harley Quinn one, which is like starring again Margot Robbie.
Yeah.
You know what's interesting about the DC like cinematic universe is that like they, I think, are openly just not even trying to like connect things anymore. Like they're like
we'll do a backstory for whoever. We'll do this story for whoever, but like we're gonna use these or that actor. But like I feel
it's
like,
very comic booky. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like where like sometimes like that story happened. Now we're not talking about that anymore, like retconning it or something like that. So, you know, there's still money to be made because like the actors and actresses and the story, like Aquaman is like huge. You know, Wonder Woman was huge. Justice League didn't do that well.
No.
What was the other one with like all the criminals? The first one that Margot Robbie was in.
Suicide Squad. Yeah. Honestly, that movie didn't do super great, but its soundtrack is amazing.
Yeah. So that came out. It's being pinned as like a girl gang movie.
Yeah, it looks really cool, and it already has like good music. It has Yes, Heads Will Roll, as part of like the teaser trailer, which is like one of my favorite songs.
Yeah. So
like I feel like DC, they really know how to like popular music, how to put it back there.
They're getting it together.
So that's exciting because I really liked Margot Robbie as Harley Quinn. I kind of thought she was the best part of Suicide Squad.
I just wonder
what because literally nothing else from that movie stands out besides her performance.
Sorry, I'm like yawning a lot, but I literally only had like 2 hours of sleep.
Yeah, we're both like struggling.
I'm dying here. But what was I gonna say? No, I mean like because they like. That was the interesting part because after Suicide Squad, Jared Leto was supposed to be the Joker, and now here comes Joaquin Phoenix with his own like origin story Joker. Yeah, because like
people made which I'm like, who is that even? I don't know.
Like, you know, Harley Quinn is like the girlfriend of the Joker. So what, are you just not going to use like Joker anymore? It's crazy. Because
I feel like the Joaquin Phoenix like Joker is like a whole different Joker from like any other Joker we've ever seen.
Yeah. Well, the interesting part about like those characters, those heroes, is that like multiple people have played like Robin. Multiple in the comic books. So that means like another person, when Robin gets old, another like Dick Grayson or somebody, like they're different kids.
Yeah.
And they assume the role. So it's like even like Spider-Man, like Miles Morales is like a black kid that ends up taking over Spider-Man. But and the same thing with Batman. Like I think they're about to introduce like the first black Batman like into comics and stuff. So we might be seeing a black Batman in the future.
Yeah. But first Robert Pattinson.
Right. But yeah, so even but first like the Joaquin Phoenix is just its own interesting. I think they're taking a lot of liberties with the Joker origin story and just making it very unique. Joaquin Phoenix is a unique actor.
Yeah, and it's just like the way he got his body ready for this role must have been not eating for like a while.
Yeah.
But anyways, so Jay-Z, he's doing a joint partnership with the NFL, which people have had issues with, especially since like, you know, his brother Colin Kaepernick is, you know, hasn't been treated well by the NFL.
Yeah.
And, you know, a lot of black folks are like, Jay-Z, what are you doing?
Yeah.
But, you know, he got some cosigns from like Diddy and T.I. and whatever, and they're doing their thing. but he's doing like an Inspire Change concert series, which are having like people that would make sense for him, like Meek Mill, Rhapsody, but then Meghan Trainor is one of his picks.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember, was it last year at the Super Bowl, like Meghan Trainor took a hard stance on like performing at the Super Bowl, like because of the like Colin Kaepernick's like fight and stuff. And the only reason why I want to bring that up, because I'm not actually a huge fan of Meghan Trainor at all. I think we were talking shit about her last week on the episode.
We were talking because like she's kind of like she's the kind of person who in kind of like even how her style, like how she stylized her music and how she's like try to stylize like her whole vibe, she's kind of like taken from things that Black women have always consistently done and like kind of made that her thing. I mean, like, you know, Baby Got Back is all about how how he doesn't want skinny white girls who look a certain way, and like he wants like, you know, women, and
her style is like very like her songs are like the Supremes or something.
Yeah, and like she does like that same kind of vibe. So I'm sure like it's just kind of like it doesn't.
My beef with her was when I was watching that show. What was it? It was like Diddy, Khaled, and her were
I forgot
judging a show.
It was some random song. It was some random music competition that I don't even think is on anymore.
Right. Well,
I think it was like called The Four or something.
The Four. Yeah.
Wow. Damn. Good recall.
Yeah, well, the reason why it was so confusing that like there was The Four, and then like when then they had to like eliminate one of the judges, so there's only 3 judges. Like, but like while she was on that show, she just had like. Her attitude was just kind of weird. Like it almost like seemed like she was trying to be really down with like the culture and stuff like that, but she's not. It just looked like she was kind of.
But it's like you know, if this is supposed to be something like inspire change, whatever, and you're gonna do it with like Meek Mill, who, you know, I need to watch his documentary. I watched Travis Scott's, which was actually kind of good. Yeah, I liked it.
I've heard things.
I need to watch Meek Mill's, but like, you know, Meek Mill is like kind of a good person for the culture, just for like social justice, for things like that. Rhapsody is a very underrated but very talented female Black rapper. And then it's like Meghan Trainor hasn't put out any really good music. Like she hasn't put out like anything really recently at all.
That's why I always thought it was funny that she was a judge on that show.
Yeah, like place. I just don't understand like her being, she's like definitely like more of like the NFL pick to be like.
We must be missing something. Like she must be like, you know, really like down for the cause or something like that.
It's just definitely
to be recognized by Jay-Z for this thing. Like, you know what I'm saying? I doubt Jay-Z is just like picking just anybody. Like,
it's, you know. So one of the tweets on here, he's like, I get why the NFL wants Meghan Trainor as part of their social justice optics, like to look good. It's like, she's white, she's a woman, she could perform her song, like Me Too, like blah blah blah. Like it's just like she makes it like, oh, because the NFL has been consistently not like as a thing not great to women. Like we could talk about the cheerleaders and how like they get paid maybe like, you know, like $20 a game, and to how they're treated and everything like that. We could talk about the women that are beaten and just thrown to the side and like told by different members of the NFL thing as large to like shut up because they can't fuck around with their players. So I think it's like definitely like NFL's way to be like, look, we care about women, like a woman, that's relatable. And it's just kind of like not, it just really misses the mark though, because it's like
I hope that doesn't like outshine the cause though, the movement.
Exactly, that's the thing. Right. It's like it's
like I'm not the biggest fan of Meghan Trainor, but like, you know what I'm saying? Like I feel like people are so quick to react to things these days that, you know, like even the Jay-Z thing, it's like you don't know what his like, he's like probably like a couple moves ahead. Like, you know what I'm saying? He's playing chess here.
That's literally what one of these other tweets says. It's like he's like, you know, he's trying to play, like you have to like, especially in a,
you got to be at the table to like, you know, make changes. Yeah. Like that's what, you got to be in the room. Like, you know what I'm saying?
It's tough. And like it's not like it seems like a kind of off the wall choice.
Yeah, watch him get like some type of Nobel Peace Prize in the future and stuff. For all
and I'm
movies.
Sure it really is for the optics of being like, well, look.
Future Bachelor prediction: Nobel Peace Prize for Jay-Z, Sean Carter.
But it definitely is kind of like a meh kind of choice.
Well, Ariana Grande is trying to get that money, right? What is she? What is she trying to do?
So Forever 21, I guess Forever 21 even went to her for a partnership, and she did the math, or her people did the math, and she was like, I'm not gonna get enough market share from this, so like sorry about you. But they went forward with doing a campaign and stylizing it to look exactly like her 7 Rings styles and exactly like her and using quotes from her songs.
What the hell is wrong with them?
To like,
who the hell is doing this? My thing is
like, and like Forever 21 is a large company, and also Forever 21 hasn't been doing like super great recently.
Yeah, I thought they were like gonna go bankrupt. Or
like
something.
They're supposed to be going bankrupt. They also like now. They also have been like promoting, you know, buying diet bars after like people buy plus size items. Whoops.
That was like an accident.
That's
right?
a mistake on the coding on your website, pals. But
how much is she suing them for?
Like I think
10 million
is.
I think it was 10 million.
Yeah, 10 million. 10 million
Ariana Grande's putting Forever 21.
My thing is like, Forever 21 is a huge corporation. Like, there's several levels before that gets to like, we're gonna do it. Like, who was like, one of the most like one of the richest pop stars right now. We're gonna try to go up against her. Like, well, she won't she won't care.
I honestly think though, like, might be genius. The way these guys are doing this controversies these days, I'm almost thinking it's like premeditated. Think about it.
Yeah, but it's like people like think
who care? Like, you know what I'm saying? All the girls that like want to shop like Ariana Grande and stuff.
Yeah, but a lot of Ariana stans, like the fact that like she's suing them, they're gonna be like, well, I'm gonna boycott Forever 21.
Yeah, but for every one of those girls, there's another girl that's like, oh, I'm going to go to Forever 21 and get like an affordable Ariana Grande look. You know, and now it's on every front page. Like, you can't get advertisement like that. That's like Popeye's advertisement. Like, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, it's almost like, hey, yo, if you're getting that 10 million, I wonder if like they'll make like a lot of like more millions than 10. I don't know. Like, just selling those clothes.
Know. I feel like Forever 21 is like kind of.
Yeah.
So I don't know. We'll have to see. But you know.
Well, good for her. You get your money, girl. Let's talk about. I don't know if I want to talk about. Let's talk about Justin Bieber.
Okay, so Justin Bieber like has been getting in his feelings recently.
Right. I mean, did you read that?
I read part of that big post that he posted. Essentially, he's like, I hope you stayed around and read this. It's all from the heart. I'm like, oh, I feel bad.
Well,
Justin,
I'm interested when he talks.
Justin, I didn't.
But he's kind of like a Bachelor in Paradise in one person to me. Like, you know what I'm saying? A human experiment. And, you know, just seeing him, you know, he had some good points about, like, a kid being whatever. But it almost sounds like, you know what I'm saying? Like, go talk to your therapist about this or something. Like, you know, you're talking to a bunch of people that are, like, probably poor. And, you know.
Rationality comes with age, and so does your decision-making process.
Right. I mean, he's talking about all the drugs and the women.
And he's talking about, like, what it meant for him growing up and.
So I know he was getting backlash, backlash enough where like what's the man, Scooter Braun, he was like making up, he like posted about like fake headlines to like spin it in a positive way. He's like, I see a lot of news organizations like saying negative headlines and stuff, so he put out like his own narrative.
Oh God.
But he, like Justin Bieber is really strong for like, you know, putting himself out there and like helping people, but. You know, he essentially he's just talking about like, yo, dude, I sometimes don't even want to be alive, and I don't want to do this stuff. Like, I saw a clip of him last week singing like in the church. Yeah. Like, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. So, I do not want to sit here and say that Justin Bieber couldn't have problems. But like when you like your wife is like a beautiful like model, you got all the money in the world and all the fans and it's just like, dude, just start being positive. Like, you know what I'm saying? What are you trying to say?
Part of his note does say it's like about being positive, like, you know, trying to like switch your attitude around. But
it feels like a very like poor me type way of going about it.
I also just think he's never been able to correctly develop his emotional skills to like understand how to work through these things. First of all, like he was
still weird that he has a wife.
Yeah, yes. Like he was a child star, and then, you know, was like his whole image was supposed to be kind of like the bad boy like player.
Well, that's what they used to get him out of the whole like teen bopper. Like,
yeah, but like even when he was like a little kid, he was supposed to be kind of like gonna get your girl kind of thing, and. Like, I was like, baby. But anyways, like the amount of little girls.
Have you ever seen that video of him like singing the N-word and all that stuff?
I think I've heard of it, but I
mean,
think
it's pretty out there. I think. Like,
yeah, I'm like, sir.
I think it had like, I don't know, it's really bad, but
yeah, but I
don't know how he made it through that.
I just feel like he never like and I feel like he still is trying to learn how to do that. I think he really needs to keep going to therapy or something, because they'll give him the tools to help understand how to do that. Because I mean, he's my age. He's technically like 3 months or 4 months younger than me. And he never was given, like, I obviously wasn't famous by 12.
Well, he's talking about like within 2 years, like going from a small town kid with just like real world problem.
Canada,
like his parents are 18 years old when they have him.
Yeah.
They're just like stupid kids too.
Yeah.
So it's like, he didn't have the best upbringing, and then he just like his talents like literally grew overnight, and he became the world's like biggest superstar, and he doesn't know how to handle it. But I mean, to even frame it and talk about it like that, it's like you do gotta kind of have a self-awareness. I mean, like
he's privileged, and he's very privileged, and I think what he is, even with some of this, which is he's trying to be inspirational, I think he's forgetting his privilege because he has so much access to way more resources than a lot of other people. And, he was privileged. He could be making a difference. He was privileged to even I
would love to see him instead of just talking about church so much and stuff like that, going out and like going to the Bahamas, helping like the people out there or something like that. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, do something, dude. Like, you have all these resources. And like all you're sitting here is being like, I was just like, I had all this money and girls and fame thrown at me.
And I was doing so many drugs.
That's the only problem.
And pissing into buckets.
Yeah, I mean, I did really stupid stuff, but now I go to church and I'm blessed.
Hashtag blessed.
Yeah, whatever, dude.
Anyways.
Also, Juan, what is Britney Spears losing 50-50 custody of her kids?
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah. So Britney, her kids were like over at her dad's house, and like, the whole Britney thing is that Britney's
talking about Kevin Federline.
So Kevin Federline is gonna get like 70 to 90% custody.
Holy crap!
And then
she's gonna be a great dad.
And she's just like,
or she's a terrible mom.
She's just not in a super great place where she should even be. Like her father is technically.
That's another one. That's what will happen to Justin Bieber if he keeps
Yeah, I mean, like her dad is technically like in charge of her finances and everything right now. Like I guess her son. She took her boys over, they're like 13 and 12, took them over to her dad's house to hang out, and like her dad got a little bit abusive. I guess there was like a disagreement and things that happened, and he like busted through a door to like physically shake the 13-year-old boy, like to violently shake him and like abuse him. And so that's not a safe environment for any kids to be around. And if he's technically
I wonder if that kid was like an asshole
kind of, I mean, like, you're at 13, like you're not the greatest, but like still shouldn't be put into
if you're Britney Spears kids, like I bet you like they're just like, fuck you, grandpa.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
But
like, I'm not getting off my iPads.
But so Britney's only get them, so I think right now she's only get them 30% of the time.
Jeez.
And he's going to get them 70%. And you know what? I think Britney really needs to, I think this is probably good for her. I think she's really battling some shit right now, and she's not getting proper help. And I don't think her having to be in charge of kids who can then, get into things with her dad is just not.
Man, that sounds toxic.
It just doesn't seem like. Oh.
Come on, we got fun, right? Oh man, yo, let's what made you go like yikes this week? And I won't interrupt you.
Fucking Jesus. Okay, in the year of our Lord 2019, Dior. And Christian Dior, well-known designer house, came out with their cologne, that the campaign with their front person, Johnny Depp, who is also just has his own problematic situations. For sure. That it's called Sauvage, Sauvage, which literally means savage. It means the same thing. Right.
It's like one of those words where we just like eventually like took out the like a letter.
Yeah. It literally means the same thing. And the whole imagery of the teaser trailer / ad / everything for this perfume is them like in some sort of like, southwest area of the Americas, and a lot of Native American imagery. And it's like Johnny Depp is the civilizer. They're playing a rock guitar and like wooing some some Native American woman.
What the hell?
Yeah. So there's like
people.
wolves.
We can't get away with this stuff anymore. What year do you think we're living in?
Come on. So first of all,
yeah.
First of all, they're like, we're gonna have some Native American dancers. We're gonna name but I'm like, okay, if like we're gonna do things to be like, oh, we love like the culture, but also like I feel like that's really hard for us to do because it's like we love the culture of Native Americans. That's why we completely wiped them almost all the way out.
I mean, it really doesn't even. People don't talk about it ever. It's a weird part of like American history. Like we talk about slavery
it's such
and
bullshit,
stuff.
Dude. Like that's why half of my service trips I did in college. Like I went to South Dakota and I worked with like women on a reservation because like I was like, what? This is how this works?
Yeah.
And it was like wild. But like so this is like something that like really like I'm very invested in like the whole like Native American erasure, like making sure that's like not a thing, etc. And so it's just blatant cultural appropriation. It's also just like blatant like westernization white nonsense where they're like, well, like Johnny Depp out here, it's like, you know, the savage, like whatever, the savage in you, release the savage
like
in
you,
and
equating
equating Native Americans to being savages, like
that's kind of crazy. I saw you post like a story about someone being like, yo Lizzo, you're my spirit animal, and she replied, she's like, oh, that's sweet, but spirit animal is derogatory for Native peoples who that's like an actual thing and a part of like their cultural and religion, but like I'm happy you feel like I'm a part of like, you know, your best self inside you be your best self. But which is so true. I mean, it's kind of crazy. I mean,
that's why,
Halloween,
like,
you still see people with like Native American headdress.
You still like if you go to like music festivals, you still see people doing that. Or
that's like the only place that like you can
women,
do it.
like white women trying to do bindies and stuff.
Oh, that's
like,
been like since Gwen Stefani.
I
but
know,
like I just
was,
actually
like,
saw that video the other day. I was like, yo, this girl's that's problematic.
Yeah.
That song wouldn't have been big today, but it would have. That is a classic, But yeah, no, I mean, it's kind of crazy. Like, you know, the festivals are like the only places you can actually, doesn't matter. You can be racist as shit there.
But I literally once like replied to a guy that I'm like, I barely know him anymore. Like I knew him when I first moved here. I replied to his story from some sort of music. No, it was like from a bachelorette party. Oh. And the bachelorette was wearing a headdress and she looked white. And I still don't really believe this. And he was all like, well, she's actually part Cherokee.
That's what everyone says.
And I'm like...
I'm Navajo.
And because like I was like,
you were some type of hoe.
How? But yeah, I'm just like, sure she is. I'm like, sure this wasn't just some excuse to have like a little cute theme. Like I'm like, I don't know.
You know, like when I was growing up, like it would be a thing where like I'd be like, yeah, I'm Indian. They're like, what kind of Indian are you? Are you like the la 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 Indian, or are you like, you know, that type of stuff? Like it's just like, whoa, like you can't even. It's like it's just weird in my lifetime when people say that.
It's crazy that we
stuff.
Still have like a fucking football team called the Redskins.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy.
Like,
yeah. Or the Braves and all that stuff.
Well, yeah, like I never do the chop at the Braves games.
Yeah, that's super racist.
Because that's like,
well, first of all, it also just looks very Nazi-ish. Like, you know what I'm saying? I don't like those things. It makes me feel like at church, I feel like when they make us do all those type of things, I'm like, this is very culty. You know what I'm saying?
Everything's a cult.
Yeah. But yeah, so yikes! Wow, that's pretty crazy. But
they pulled the ads because they realized. But I mean, it's too late now.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. It's like I feel like they do this on purpose.
Nobody's gonna buy that fucking cologne.
Someone's gonna buy it. Someone always buys it. Like it's like, what if Native Americans actually like, wow, this smells really good, actually.
I'll be a savage.
Yeah, they're like, well, it has my stuff on it. I might as well. But yeah. So, well, why don't we talk about a little mini paint talk?
Rookie.
Hold on a second. I'm gonna just scratch that and then bring it back. Hey, yikes! That. Wow. Well, why don't we get into a little mini main topic? Mini main topic. Mini main.
We really need to just make that one of these.
I kind of like it though.
I kind of want it to sound like that though. I want it to just be like mini main topic.
Like
not really like.
Yeah, we're just like fade out at the end. But have you ever seen like it happens very often?
It does.
And what is it about couples that look alike?
Like they look like either if they're like a hetero couple, like sometimes they look like their brother and sister.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I've seen like gay couples that look alike
like
too.
in major same in like cute Usher voice. These are my confessions. My first ever boyfriend, people and I told us that we looked like siblings, so we had very similar, like, hair color, eye color, skin color. Like,
it was funny because like Morgan asked me about that too, like
well,
about her
the guy that she was dating, yeah, like.
But I just don't understand what goes through people's heads. Like, honestly, growing up, that was a thing in my head. Like, I didn't like I dated a girl that was half Pakistani, half black, but she looked like brown, like me and my sister, and like so.
Yeah, because you and your sister have a very specific like tone of brown.
Right, am I brown?
You're brown.
Okay, cool.
You're like,
I was having this conversation yesterday.
What do
I'm like,
people
what the
think
hell would you think? What color am I?
You're brown.
They can never come up with the right answer. That's the funny part. It's
I mean, you're on the brown spectrum.
I had a black person try to tell me that they were brown and that I was not brown. I was like, you can't take two colors. Like, you know,
black people like some black people refer to like little brown girl, like the song that Beyonce did for.
I get it. Her skin looks brown too. It's just a darker brown.
Yeah.
But I'm saying, like, if you're gonna say you're black and brown, like, what about us brown people? Like, we need a color.
Like, you're definitely brown.
Okay, thank you. But what I was about to say is, like, back in high school, like back in the day too, people were just like racist, and they like today. And they would just be like, they would always call like my girlfriend. They'd be like, they would think she was my sister, or they would think like my sister was like my girlfriend or something like that. Oof. Yeah. So
people have sometimes thought that my brother was my boyfriend at the time. My brother Vince, because he's.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Like we're together, they're like, oh, you guys. I'm like,
I guess it could happen for white people too. But in general, though, it was like we were the only like three brown people like in high school. So it's like, get it together, guys. One of them's been here. We just moved here.
Up in Lake Georgia.
Right. But it actually stuck something in my head where I was like, I kind of like really wasn't too into like Indian girls, and just specifically.
Wow,
Indian
that's
girls.
like some internal racism.
No, it's not. It's not like I wouldn't. Like, I still think they're beautiful. Like, you know what I'm saying? I find me a good, like, pretty Indian girl, I'm going for it. Like, actually, there's a lot of them around here lately.
Thank God Atlanta is diverse as fuck.
Yeah.
I gotta love it.
But also, I was, like, half Spanish, too. So I also like Spanish girls, and I never really got that from that. So I was like, I'll just go Spanish. Wepa. And anyways, like, I just think it's funny that that's a different type of like, those are people just thinking brown people look alike and stuff. But there's literally couples that you're like, holy crap, you two look like you could be brother and sister.
Yeah. Or it's kind of fascinating because like I think I've seen this a lot where like in kind of Japanese pop culture, they purposely like dress and style themselves to look alike, so that even takes it to like a whole other level, which like in American culture I don't think we would ever. The most we do is like match for like a high school dance or a wedding or whatever. So like that's even a whole nother level. But I feel like some of it is tied to the whole idea that like psychology states that like people tend to be attracted to themselves. Well, I mean, like, people are vain. So people, like the way they look, and they want to leave. So if they're gonna like,
so they find those features in other
they're gonna
people.
And then also people generally are attracted to like one of their parents. Like, not like, it's not like I'm like out here being like, wow, my dad's so fucking hot, but like it's like you find yourself.
Yikes! Moment of the week.
My mom's gonna listen to this shit.
She's like, I know, I married him.
Yeah, I know.
How do you think you're alive?
Yeah, like, all right.
All right, Mom, I get it. You win.
Yeah, but whoa.
You won this one.
Like, I don't really have an Oedipus complex, Mom, but that's like an actual thing that people like are like kind of naturally attracted to people like their parents, because it's like,
see, I was about to get into that too. It's like almost a little cringy when like guys these days will be like, you want someone just like your mom. Like, I've never thought about that ever. I don't ever want a person. There's a
lot of, but like you might not even know it, and you might be going after people that like kind of, especially. It's true. I know a lot of men. Not that like I know a lot of men who like have been. I think a lot of men are babied by their mothers. Mm-hmm. My mom will even openly admit it about kind of some of my brothers. She won't maybe right away, but she will. Yeah. But
I mean, it is like, you don't want to like think you would do anything for your kid, like, you know what I'm saying, would try to give them advantages or whatever.
But like, and it's just that also comes down to just like how there's a lot of different ways about like how women or men are raised. And something I remember reading once that like really hit me, it was like, why do we think that like, boys just mature slower and whatever, where there's like parts of it where it's like, oh, maybe we just haven't been expecting boys to do things like girls are, like, especially when it comes to like chores or whatever. Like, it's very much so like boys are like, well, look, I finally did it, and girls will just like kind of quietly, like, it's been studies, like, go and do it, and they won't ask for praise. But whatever, that's a whole other thing. But it's like kind of like men tend to, like, I've seen men in my own life that date people who kind of mom them, if that's something they were used to with their mom.
That, like, I could see that.
Yeah, but it's not like their significant other like looks a ton. Some of them, it does, like, their significant other does look kind of like,
right, like when related. I'm sick, I would love a girlfriend that would just like be like, put Vaporub on my chest,
some Vaporub,
some vapor rub, get me like some food, just like, I'm just like, I'm sick, but so I get that, and that's like the type of stuff my mom would do for me when I was a kid. But like, I'm talking about, like, you look at these two people and like everyone says it, they're just like, yikes, like, you know what I'm saying, they look like
I don't know, like, were you ever someone who had like, do you have like a lot of like cousins or anything?
Yeah, I got a lot of cousins.
Yeah, so I have like a lot of cousins too, and I feel like everybody kind of has that one like older cousin that they always like kind of were like, when they were younger, were like kind of crushing on kind of deal. But like not like, because you're like, but they're my cousin, but you're always just like, what?
I think it's more normal. Yeah, I don't even like, I'm not trying to make you feel weird about it, because I think it's more normal than like, I think what you're saying right now, nobody is gonna want to like admit to or whatever, like that. But everyone listening right now is like,
know, like,
they know,
like, yeah,
like, you listening right now, what's going on, and it really is. It's just like, I've actually heard like conversations about it and stuff, like, through different podcasts.
And like, think about even like the Mean Girls thing, like being like, but isn't he like my second cousin?
Right. Well, I think what that is just like right, you're growing up, so first of all, you don't really have the concept of like, that's family. Like, you're just like, this is like a cool person and all that stuff. And then you also have like a lot of cases, like, people like cousins actually do hook up like as kids, like, what I'm saying, when you're trying to figure out that, not saying like everybody has or whatever like that, but it's a lot more normal than you would think, like, what I'm saying,
especially like, like,
just like when people are talking about being like sexually abused, like guys or girls nowadays, it's actually a lot more normal than you think. A lot of us, what I'm saying, that could have been the sexual abuse too. Like, you wouldn't even known, like, and it's not like you think of it like negatively or anything like that, but it's like an older cousin, like, like guys would like make out when you guys were like kids or something like that.
And
that's
like, you
like,
didn't even like, they might
somebody
have been,
might
like,
have been doing it to them, and
it
like,
might have been like a cousin that like you've only met, it maybe was a cousin like you only had met a couple of times, so you didn't even know how like directly related, whatever. But like in general, it's just kind of like, I feel like,
but yeah, I feel like that's separate than what, like,
no,
then like, I don't know, it's just weird because it happens a lot more than,
I feel like a lot. I definitely, I mean, and I have some friends who have like dated or potentially or whatever with people that look a lot like them, and it's just definitely, I think it's a real, I would love to do more of like read more about the psychology of it, but I think it's just like a weird comfort / like slightly narcissistic thing where like, not like bad, like I feel like narcissist like gets like a bad connotation all the time, and it's like, in this sense, it's like not super bad, but it's just like, it's familiar. Okay, but what is a person supposed to do or feel? Like, how are they supposed to feel when someone's like, oh, you guys look like you could be brother and sister? Like, I mean, what if you just started dating? Like, do you have to take it does feel kind of, I feel like that's like it feels kind of weird when you get that comment and you're like, what?
I just look at people kind of like, if they're like, they're dating someone that kind of looks like themselves, like, it's just really weird, and it's like very obvious. You're like, ugh, like, out of all the people in the world and all the different types of them. It is kind of weird,
but I also like, I guess like I sort of, I'm like, well, like, this was like more of a very like instinctual thing. Like, I don't really think I don't think a lot of people like go out there like consciously being like, I'm gonna look like, for someone who looks like they're gonna be my twin. Like, nobody does that. So I kind of like, I don't like, I wouldn't.
Have you seen those situations where like you like the guy like marries this girl, but like his wife and his sister like they look a lot alike?
Yeah.
And it's just like, what?
Well, you know, it's kind of.
Oh, we're supposed to be cool with this, and we're all old. It's not that big of a deal.
It's kind of
like, one
of my high school boyfriends. His dad and his mom. So like him and I knew his cousin, and so his cousin. So him and his cousin, their dads were brothers, and their moms were sisters. Because my high school boyfriend, his dad met his future mom at the other one's wedding. So like that's how they. But it's kind of
that's a little weird.
Is because I always called.
Well, I always think it's weird.
I always called them double cousins because then if you got all of them in a room together, because there's so many, they're hugely Catholic, so there was like 10 kids from the one family and 6 kids from the other. If you got them all in a room together, they all looked like pretty related. They all looked like some of
I've had this
they looked like they could be like brothers.
I've had this discussion before, just because it's just like an interesting thing. But like, okay, so that makes sense. But like when it comes to like twins, isn't it kind of weird? Like if you like married one of your like the twins that are like identical, like you know exactly like.
I've like seen like stuff or like where there's stories about where like there's twins that marry other sets of twins.
Yeah. But I'm saying like, all right, so specifically, when I was growing up, I had hooked up with a girl that was a twin or whatever like that.
God.
And now I'm like friends with them still, and like they're both like married or whatever. But when I first got here, like one of the husbands was like, "Yo, dude, what was it like?" I'm like, "Dude, what are you talking about? It's exactly like probably what it's like your girl, like you know what I'm saying?" But it's weird because like you would know kind of like what their bodies look like and all that stuff. Like so, you know, it's weird. Right?
I mean, like,
and also like, all right, so this is my question too, like. So I say this to it's like a joke, but like my shout out to my brother-in-law Victor. It's his birthday.
Happy birthday, Vic.
There goes all my shout outs. But no, I say it to him because all the time I'm just like, you think you're the only one that can pull a sister because his sister's like pretty and stuff like that. But so I like hypothetically saying like if me and her were to like date or whatever like that, and then you know my sister and them have a kid, it's going to be like.
Oh fuck.
Well, they're gonna look a lot alike, right?
Yeah. Because they're like have the same. What if you guys were like the godparents?
I don't know, but
that would be crazy if you guys were the godparents of the kids.
It's wrong, probably, but I'm just saying though, like, so like I'm his brother-in-law. She's my sister's sister-in-law. Does that make me and her like family at all?
I mean, no. You guys aren't related by blood. I mean,
you don't have to be related by blood. Like that's how cousins and aunts and all that stuff work. But I'm just saying, like, is that weird? It is weird, right?
It's not that weird, I don't think. It's like pretty much the same situation.
If you're a twin, you date another twin couple. I could see it.
I've hooked up with
freak.
I've hooked up with twins before.
I know. I've heard that story. That's freaking crazy.
Yeah, and they ask. Yeah, twins are weird.
That's weird. That's a whole other mini-man topic.
They really like to know.
So yeah, no, I just thought it was really weird. Like,
it is weird, and as someone who like has been in a relationship, like, but it was like when I was 15 with somebody who looked a lot like me. Which I don't really think he looked that much like me at all, but like I could see where people like, you guys look like you could be brother and sister.
Especially at that age, we're all like,
yeah, we're like all weird looking.
Yeah.
And I was like, no, my brothers are cuter than him. But I mean, my best friend Ian, I'll do his shout out early now. Happy birthday, Ian.
Okay. Wasn't ready, but here we go, Ian.
He and I look a lot alike too, and we even have like similar glasses and everything. So like when we were in college and stuff, and we'd be hanging out together, people always thought we were gonna date. My mother to this day, I think, still thinks I'll get married to him. It's not gonna happen. And but people always thought we like. My mom calls him like her fourth son, and I call him like my brother because we look a lot alike.
Right. Yeah.
Like even our hair swoops the same way.
Wow. Yeah, I don't know. I just thought it was like interesting. Like, what are you supposed to do? What are you supposed to do?
Like, and I don't think it's, and as I said, I don't think it's like people are like actively like, I want to find someone that looks as close to me as possible. Like you're attracted to yourself. Like I think it's like a natural, normal thing that people are like, oh, you're so vain. But it's like, no, like you obviously.
Well, I think about like over in like Asia and stuff. Like, I mean, there's just some races that just like everyone kind of does look like very similar. So in Asia, they're dating like, everybody that kind of like.
Jesus.
I'm just saying. I'm just saying. Okay. I'm just saying. There's like, I mean, there's just some races. Like even like brown people can look alike.
You know,
all
white people look all the same.
That's what I was saying. Like I figure like maybe even white people could look like alike. You Ben Affleck. But it was the second week in a row I got this job.
You keep using that one.
It's really funny.
Plug and play.
When you white, you Ben Affleck. What was I say? Well, that was a really weird conversation.
Let's do some quick Bachelor stuff.
Yeah, this week was pretty crazy. Caught up on everything today.
Yeah, I watched some of it. But
where do we start?
So, night one.
Starting with old Matt Donald.
So, night one, you know, Angela had just come in. Nicole's feeling some kind of way about it. She makes sure to go and talk to Angela, being like, hey, bitch, don't you dare, like, I'm trying to have some kind of thing. And like, Angela's like, don't you worry, I'm not here for your mans. Like, I'll make sure I look hot as hell in front of him, but I'm not here for him.
That's what she said?
She didn't say that, but like, wow. She said it with her eyes.
That would have been G as hell.
She said it with her eyes. I mean, she's like, I'm not here for any drama. And then she keeps strutting around the entire fucking beach.
Yeah.
And I'm like, and like Clay is already.
Let her strut though.
I mean, yeah, I'm fine with her strutting. But like Clay is feeling some kind of way, which I'm like, Clay, you need to get stronger because you broke up with her. And
but
like,
I mean, I can understand Clay. Like, it's just a horrible situation.
I mean, yeah, it's shitty.
For him to think he could have had any control over it, it's like that's the dumb part.
You know, like, come on. You know what you're doing going on to paradise.
You know what you're doing dating other people in the franchise. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
So in general, like, I could see why he's like not liking the situation. I wouldn't like seeing my ex dating other people and stuff, but like that's what the show is.
Yeah, I mean, so it's gonna be hard for him, but she takes Mike on her date with her date cart. What I mean, like, and Mike is like the therapist.
I did notice that was his downfall. Is like I don't know what his issue is. Like, even on, like, Becca's season, like, you know what I'm saying? He was always the one to kind of sit down and, like, ask questions that, like...
He's a good guy. He's just a really fucking good guy. You don't even need to ask
those questions, though. Like,
yeah, but I think he was asking... I think he was even more on Clay's side. I think he went on the date with Angela to see, like, where it'd go. And, I mean, he, like, had a good time. But I think he really... Because he's, like, buddy-buddy with Clay from this season, I think he just was trying to, like, figure out shit more, which, like...
Sounded like he was throwing Clay under the bus.
He kind of, I mean, like, he was throwing both of them under the bus. He's like, so you said this, Clay, and then blah, blah. But, I mean, they had their little date. It was whatever.
Well, see, that's what gets him.
Yeah, later.
Yeah.
But, then we get a couple.
Which sucks because when he said that, like, he said, like, you know, Clay said he actually never loved you or something like that, right? Didn't he say something along those lines to Angela?
Yeah.
And then I was like, because I was watching it with somebody, and we both looked at it. We were like, I can't wait till they get back and talk about this. And then they just didn't talk about it again.
No, they didn't. Like, and it wasn't, they didn't talk about it. Because then in night 2 was when Clay takes Angela to the side to talk to her more. And, like, that conversation kind of went nowhere. It was definitely, like, more of them arguing and, like, Angela being like, you said all this shit about us, like, getting whatever, and then you broke up with me and saying you needed space, and then you came on the show. Like, okay.
Yeah, it could have gone a lot better. Like, I mean, she's been taking kind of, like, this, like, it's almost like a very, like, a facade, like, confidence. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
well,
it's
yeah,
like...
I mean, like, I think she was heartbroken from the breakup. And
so this
then
is like
she sees him go off, like, sees him, like, he, like, I think he painted in a whole, like, I gotta find myself, blah, blah. And she's like, oh, so you had to find yourself into another Bachelor in Paradise situation.
Getting paid to be on this island.
Yeah, like, oh.
You know what I found out is, like, the whole production is, like, 18 days. A little peek behind the curtain.
Really?
There. It's only, like, 2 weeks. So when they're talking about last week, it's really only a day or two ago.
Holy shit.
Like, this thing is just 18 days.
Well, because, like, there's a lot of times when they're like,
which
oh,
makes it look how creepy
like,
these guys are on top of each other, like, within, like, 3 days.
Is it really only 18? I feel like it is only, like, yeah, because it's, like,
tops.
It's a little over 2 weeks. Yeah, because, like, even when baby Becca has talked about how when she almost went on, and then she was, like...
That's why there's so much, actually,
like, yeah.
too. That's why they need to do, like, 2 nights of it and get it done really quick because it's, like, very quick, but you get a lot of content in those 18 days.
I know. Well, it's not always been 2 nights every... I feel like
it has.
I don't know. I feel like this, like, season is, like, last... I'm like, oh, it's still not over.
Wow, that's great for our podcast.
But I feel like it's like just been dragging.
No,
so like in things that also are still dragging, we're dragging more with the JPJ night one. It was a lot of like the JPJ Derek stuff. JPJ, you know, realizes that he's not really into Haley and like tries to let her down easy, but like totally fumbles.
Yeah.
And she's pissed.
JPJ is just losing it, man. Like he doesn't. The show's showing his immaturity, showing
he's
like
so immature.
Yeah, showing like. You know, the way he was going at Derek was like, I just don't think it's like right.
So immature. I mean, I kind of think Derek didn't also need to be feeding into it because like Derek is definitely the more mature one in this situation. And
yeah,
Derek
but I get it.
Like
he's like not even getting a word in, and he's just like so.
I know, but like when Derek was the one like that tried to pull this situation the second, like try to like confront him another time. I'm like,
he's trying to clear the air. He wants to like have like JPJ admit that like. Some things,
which is like
so he like you know JPJ was actually taking things out of context, like you know like the part where he's like talking about he could have sex with any of his like followers, but I think he was saying but I don't.
Yeah.
He was saying that I think about Blake, like, you know, saying he was talking about Blake in that situation. So JPJ just took like one thing out of context and like, he's but like, you did say that. I'm like, I said that, but you're not even saying the finishing part of it. That had nothing to do with me doing that. Like, you know, so I can understand his frustration.
I get Derek's frustration, but I think I don't think it really helped him.
Well, that frustration didn't even help him when Tayshia.
Because Tayshia was so over the whole situation in general. I really thought Tayshia was just gonna go home because I think she was just like, I'm so torn. I hate how these guys are acting. Like, can't believe they're fighting again. Blah 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 blah. And she, you know, talks to both of them. And JPJ doesn't even fucking look at her when he's like, oh, I feel so bad. I can't believe this even came to this. Like, I just care about you so much. But like, wouldn't even like fucking look at her. He looked like a stupid like 6-year-old boy who like
she fell for it.
Which pissed me off. I was like, girl, come on. And I mean, like, I didn't think she should have even been trying to get with either of them at this point. I'm like, they've both just been acting like idiots.
I know. I was hoping like her and Mike were gonna pull a fastball or something like that.
I think they would be beautiful together.
Right.
But then you know.
But she likes white boys. You know what I'm
really
saying?
Does.
Like, no, like all the black
really
girls on there
does.
like white boys. That's like that's the problem with the diversity on the show is like when they do bring in diversity, it just brings in more like of non-diversity. Like you know what I'm saying? There's not good examples of it.
Yeah. Yeah. And like Angela obviously has a type because she goes after the hot black guys. So
yeah,
like,
but not even that. Like Mike was like kind of dropped to the side when like Homeboy came in.
Ugh. Anyways,
yeah.
So
all those like plants at the wedding were actually future cast members.
Bachelor. But yeah, Derek goes home. But before that, Matt Donald and Lucas, the really bad knockoff of Nick Viall lookalike. They come down for a little double date action, and they take Matt Donald picks Sydney, and Lucas picks Christina, which Christina makes it known on their date that like she was on Nick's season, and he's like, oh, so is this weird for you because everyone says I look like him?
Yeah, she had already said that.
And she's like, LOL.
Well, she's like, you're cuter than him or something.
And I was like, no, he's not.
I wouldn't think either of them are that cute.
I love Nick.
He looks a little mousy to me. Like he looks like
he does, but like
Chuck
I was super into it for some reason.
You're like the bad boys.
So Sydney and Mike seem to have fizzled because like after Mike went to the wedding and she didn't get to go and she didn't get to spend more time with him, and then he went on the date with Angela. She's like, okay, I guess like we're not a thing anymore. And so she was like happy to go on the date with Matt Donald.
They actually didn't talk about it.
I know they didn't really say, like she barely said, like none of them really, it just seemed like they fizzled. Like she just was like, I wanted to spend more time with Mike at the wedding and now I can't. And then like he went on the date and she's like, nah, I'm like, whatever. Game. I don't really think he's so sweet though. I don't know.
I think that's like not a good thing. Like you can't be positive all the time. Like you have to get real. Like tell me something real that's been what's something negative that's happened to you that's like shaped your life. Like
he talked about it a lot on Hannah season. He like was trying to he talked about it.
I guess a little bit, but
yeah. But anyways, so she's like really into Matt Donald, which a lot of the girls like fell over themselves for Matt Donald. I don't think he's hot.
Yeah, even JPJ was like, dude,
even JPJ was like, you got the best body on this beach, man, when he was telling him down at the beginning of like the next week. Because okay, so at the end of the first week, like they go on their date and Sydney's like, so he's like not really making any moves. Like I'm telling him to kiss me.
I think Sydney's beautiful. I don't know what like
Sydney.
I don't know what her issue is like. she's pretty. She's got like a body. You know,
she's cute
nice,
and she's a dancer.
and
like,
she's
damn,
putting herself out there.
Yeah, and Matt Donald was like, "Oh man, I want to take things slow. My mom would freak out if she saw me making out with all these
doesn't
girls."
he come from a family of like everyone's
all
deaf? Right. So I think it's just a very sensitive family. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
I don't know if that makes them sensitive to him kissing someone on TV. He was already going on the Bachelorette for that.
I don't know. I could just picture like a dynamic, like, you know, their growing up might be different than anything we'd be able to understand. Like, you know what I'm saying?
But like, I don't know. Like
his whole life, he's been like the only one that can like talk in the family.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, he probably is like, I don't know. I mean,
they all can communicate with
each other.
ASL and anybody else who knows ASL.
Right, but I mean, I don't know that. So I'm just saying, it might be like
which is a like us problem.
Yeah.
Like, I think it should be something that should be taught more readily.
True,
but
blame that on the high schools. You know, with him, I just think he just like he went home on the first night of the other show. He's just not like prepped for this type of show.
He's not really made out for it, but
and his voice keeps cracking. Like, what the hell is that?
He finally, at the beginning of the second night, he does kiss her. And there's like a really fucking weird montage that they did with like the animals and like.
Because he was like, yeah.
And it was just like, and everyone was like, you know, cheering for it. Because like all the girls knew. I mean, like, girls know everything. Like, let it be known. Mm-hmm. Like, if you've texted something to a girl, whether it was cute or bad, it's probably been seen by a group text.
Well, I feel like any guy that comes down or any person that comes down now is going to be attractive compared to the stories that they've already heard about the last people. Like, you know. So,
yeah.
You know, I did notice is it's another episode for people that just hate on Blake. You know, I haven't seen Blake post on Instagram since the Kaylin episode.
I mean, Blake. Okay, so
Blake sucks, dude. He's like a terrible person.
Blake's been doing the whole "woe is me" thing, and then like even at this whole episode was him being like, "Well, if Derek left because he couldn't find anyone, I feel like that. Like, maybe I should just leave." And he's like, "And then I thought, it's been in front of me this whole time, Christina." Blah, blah, blah. We've always been tied to each other. We keep going back to each other. Blah, blah, blah. And of course, he like pulls her to the side and she's like, what the fuck? Yeah. She's like, what are you trying to do? And he's like, I'm all in for you.
Well, because she loves Blake. Like, she's going to, of course, fall for it.
Yeah, she's going to fall for it. And like,
she's like not as strong as she's going to like sit here and like, it's easy for her to like scream at like girls about it. But like, she just is like, does
and
dumb
like,
stuff.
I don't think, and so she gives him the rose. Like, so the girls gave the roses at the beginning of the second night. She gives him his rose. So our man's Mike goes home. So the taste of all these fucking women on this show makes no sense. They send my man Wills home. They send my man Mike home. They don't know a nice tall glass of chocolate milk when they see it, and I'm upset.
That's right. They don't.
They don't.
They like regular milk.
They like
rice milk.
Ew. I don't drink regular.
I don't know.
I don't drink regular.
Oh, I was just trying to think of another thing that was white.
Like oat milk.
Rice and milk, white. But yeah, no, I think like, that it's just like Mike just wasn't connecting there. Like later on, as you come into the show, people have already found connections and stuff.
I thought that him and Sydney had like a cute thing going for a while. That's why I was a little upset.
Yeah.
That it just. And
they might have just been like the people that were like the extras, and they just like,
But so then Bree, who was also like, I think she was on Colton. She was the girl who did the fake Australian accent for Colton's season. Awesome. I feel like she's dumb, but
I thought that was a smart ass entrance. Like, that's a great way for him to be like, all right, so, and it's like, I have to be honest, I don't have an Australian accent. That's genius.
It's so fake.
I mean, yeah, it's just, I mean, the whole show is kind of like that, but
I know, but like, I don't know. That's why I hate all the
she's
all the
hot
entrances.
as shit though.
She looks like
a mermaid, like model, like literally
she's
just
so
like
thin. Yeah,
she just looks like one of those girls, like one of the like Habibs or whatever, the Gigi's, or I don't know what
she does look she looks a lot like Gigi. Has a very similar face shape and everything like Gigi.
Yeah.
But she comes down. Her and Blake had been hitting it off at the wedding when he was doing the whole "woe is me, I'm stag at this wedding" charade. And but Christina's about to lose her fucking mind because she's like, homie just said he was all in on me, and now he's been talking to Bree for a while when she has this date card. Like, if he's about to go on this motherfucking date, like, I'm gonna use my Russian vengeance against him. And
it's funny too, because when she gets upset, like, her accent gets so thick. She's like literally like.
Well, it's so weird because like she still has like that Russian accent, but like it's
like
also
when you get the cry voice.
It is,
like, you know,
and it's mixed with like because she's lived in Kentucky since she was a kid as well. Yeah, like it's mixed. It's so bizarre. But like, and he, you know, comes back, isn't going on the date, thank God. But she was like kind of like she was still like very tentative, which I would be too if I were her. I'd be like, yo, homie, like has not completely changed his stripes yet. I wouldn't like be diving head first.
I mean, have you ever been in a relationship where like one day like you've taken it for granted and then the next day you're just like, you just wake up for a second and you're like, no, like maybe it might be after a night like some other like good looking dude like might have been like hitting on your girl, and then you realize you're like, wait a second, like I'm gonna go 110% into it, but like nothing actually changes, like the conversations like don't change. Like, you know what I'm saying? There's nothing really. He was like, I'm going to bring the heat and all this stuff. Like the passion.
Yeah, and he's like saying all this.
It's because like you don't really mean it. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, if you really meant this stuff, you just do it. You don't have to say it.
My most recent ex, I definitely, you know, because he looked really good on paper. Like, you know, like he's such a good guy. He likes me so much. Blah, blah, blah. Like, why wouldn't I? Like, there's definitely like times where I was like, well, I'd wake up and I'd kind of be like, well. I'm like, no, but like I have to like him. He's like so good to me, like blah blah blah. And it's like, oh well, I don't just because like he's nice.
That's what I felt like was happening with Blake and Christina. Yeah. Like he was like, you know, obviously, and also like when you're in that hyper like, hyper focus like what do they call
just
it?
Like a
environment. Yeah. Like, you know, everyone's like on top of each other, touching each other, making out, cuddling, and all that stuff, and you're the only one just sitting around. You're just like. Why? What am I doing? Like, actually start thinking, like, am I crazy? There's this beautiful girl over here that we've already hooked up. Why am I not, like, and it's just, like, it's only because you're in the scope of the show right now. Like, yeah. You know, the second they leave, it's just going to be a problem again. Yeah. Like, you know?
Yeah. So. And so Bree takes Matt Donald on the surf date.
And he didn't have any hesitation with her.
Yeah, I was like, what the hell?
He just goes, like, and he's I'm making out with a model on the beach right now.
Yeah, and he's like, oh, my mom's going to be so pissed. I'm like, okay. Yeah, so they had a good time. Mm-hmm. So, you know, that's fine. And then I think, I'm like.
That's weird. She just seems so out of his league. It doesn't even feel like
I mean, I don't really get it. But
sometimes things happen in his life you just don't get.
that is the theme for this week.
It's a beautiful struggle. Oh man.
And then so there's that. And then I'm trying to think.
Essentially, there's just still more JPJ stuff, but the big stuff that it like happens towards the end is like. You know, there's really not much drama happening.
Okay, the main thing that I was making sure I didn't forget anything, but yeah, the main thing that happens is that so like Kaylin's like going to the camera and talking about like how, you know, her and Connor's relationship is starting to really bloom.
They're gonna go to the boom boom room.
Oh,
poor Connor, dude. Connor's a joke though.
Like, Connor, the way he talks, I'm like, you are an idiot.
He looks like a teenager.
Like he's like, this loser.
Loser, why don't you go back to your van? Go back to your van. Like, loser. Like he doesn't close his mouth. Why is his mouth always open?
Because he's an idiot. He doesn't have enough brain cells to keep his mouth fucking closed. So Dean.
Oh man, but you could just see like Dean walking up is just like you don't ever want to see Mr. Dean coming for your girl. Dude, for real, Mr. Steal Your Girl. Like
so Dean
doesn't matter how hot you think you are or where you're at, Dean
swoops in with his sans mustache.
Yeah.
And he's like, hey, like everyone is like, who's that? It's Dean. And Kaylin's like, the fuck?
Even Christina's like, what?
Even Christina's like, are you fucking kidding? Christina's like, are you fucking kidding me? And like even Blake was all like,
oh, Blake, I don't even want to hear Blake. Blake is always trying to get off those one-off comments. He's like,
are you fucking kidding me? I hate this for Kaylin. Like she's been through so much already.
Yeah, because of you. Dude, those one-off comments is like, it's just funny. I
was like,
Yeah, but that's not the only time he's done that on the show.
And then also like Haley, first night was like crying to him, talking about how men ain't shit. I'm like, and he was just standing there, like he was sitting there with his eyes wide open. He's like, I ain't shit.
Yeah,
I really ain't shit.
Yeah. So Dean comes back, looking smooth.
And he talks to Kaylin, and he pretty much like gives her an ultimatum. He does the whole like, I've been
first they're like walking away, and he
you.
tries to grab her hand, and
she said, "Nah, bro," which good for her. And
but she's only doing it because everyone was watching.
Well, like I mean, like, and like even little Hannah was like, "Be careful, Kaylin."
Yeah.
And I was like, she's gonna be careful. But he kind of gives her an ultimatum after being like doing the whole song and dance.
Yeah, no one was actually happy to see
I've gone to the
Dean.
Grand Canyon. I've gone to whatever, and I just kept thinking about if only you were there with me.
He's really good at saying those things, though.
And he was like, and you accepted me I gave you all of my flaws, and you accepted all of them, which she did, and whatever. And he's like, so I'm asking you. A lot of
girls would do that though.
And he's like, I'm asking you to leave paradise with me today. And she's like, skirt, skirt. Like got the van at the top of the steps. It's running.
They're gonna go, right?
I think
Fuck, poor Connor.
I mean, like
he was about, and oh my god.
And all the girls are talking, like the other girls are talking about it, and they're all like, well, like she was passionate with Dean, like I think it's deeper with Dean.
Yeah, I mean, like I feel like the Dean emotions went over to Connor just because it was like a day span.
I mean, like it was literally a rebound.
Yeah.
Connor's a major rebound.
Yeah.
And like she's definitely the episode ended her with her crying and being conflicted because she's like, I've got like someone who's burned me, but like I love, but
for Dean to come back though, like it is like very like tail between the legs type thing. Like he
but
must
it's also
really like
kind
her.
of like it's also kind of like a soft boy move, the way that he's like phrasing it and being all like, oh please, like it's just like it is.
It's an attempt. It's a valiant attempt.
Yeah, but it's also,
what else can you do? You got to put it all out there.
Yeah, but it's like I just wish,
shoot your shot.
Yeah, but like it just seems like disgenuine after how he left. So it's just kind of it's just hard, when you drop someone being like, I won't get there, and then you come back and you're like,
imagine if you've done that to girl after girl after girl and you don't have any feelings about it, but then you just do catch feelings.
Yeah.
I feel for Dean. Like honestly,
I mean,
trust
like,
me, I thought he was the biggest like idiot for leaving and doing all that stuff, but like, to come back, like, you know what I'm saying? Like you're putting a lot on the line. Like you have to like, and also like, because
he's like, Annie needed another shower.
Well, right. if you like mess up now, because they've been all cutesy and stuff on like Instagram and stuff. So I'm guessing they're still kind of like a thing.
Yeah.
But it's gonna be really interesting to see what she does next week. And I mean, I feel bad for Connor, but that's what I love about the show.
Last week.
I think next week is the week where they're gonna be like, you either have to be in a committed relationship or you're gonna have to go home.
I feel like it has to be like almost the last week, right?
Yeah, they make like they make all the couples
so
be like,
long.
Well, they do. It might be.
It's like a fantasy suites where it's like you either have to like if you feel like you want to like continue seeing where this can go, you can stay here.
Well, if you guys want to get engaged, you can stay.
Yeah.
Or
potentially get engaged. Yeah.
Yeah. Or if you don't, then you can go.
Yeah.
And then usually like a bunch of people end up staying. That's what's crazy about the show. It's like usually there's like 3-4 couples that are like,
yeah.
I don't know if all of them make it, but like, people really want to be like the couple off of that.
Yeah, I mean, everyone's been trying to be like the Jade and Tanner.
Right. Yeah. So that's
we're getting near the end of the proverbial summer and the Bachelor in Paradise.
Going hiatus for a little bit.
Talk about not many main topics, real main topics.
Real topics. Well, I mean, speaking of like that, did you hear about it's not been officially announced, but can we talk about who the next Bachelor is like they're saying is possibly going to be?
Yeah, why the fuck not? I mean, everyone's been seeing it.
I don't feel bad about that spoiler.
I don't really think. I mean, like, because if it magically doesn't come true, then we're like, oh well,
yeah.
But most things have been saying that Pilot Peter will be the next Bachelor.
Who is third to go on Becca's season?
Which like I kind of could see that. He seems like very much so like the all-American boy. He's very puppy dog like. I kind of predicted that, but I just didn't want it to be true just because I feel like he just is like kind of
another Colton type thing.
That's what I was saying. That's what I had been saying during that season.
This is the problem. It's the beginning of another cycle of
it's just like another like he's like kind of like a Colton-y kind of guy. He's just like very also like kind of like a lovesick puppy like Colton always was. And I don't know, like I just don't I mean, I think the most interesting thing about him is that he's a pilot, so he flies a bunch of
he had like a girlfriend before the show too.
I mean, like months and months before the show, but
was?
like, yeah. But it was like they had broken up like 4 months before.
So yeah, another white boy.
So, you know, I
could still be the first prom bachelor.
You really could.
Oh, man, this is tiring, actually. Like, I don't think I'll ever want to go on that show.
By the time it gets around to me, I'm just going to be... Well, no, because think about it. Nick Viall was, I think, like 34 when it was his season.
Oh, I still got time then.
Yeah, and he had plenty of young biddies on his show.
Well, why don't we get into our slapper of the week?
Let's do it.
Have you been listening to this song?
Yeah, I've heard it. I think I've heard it on the radio.
Well, I mean, it's like one of those. I mean, when now like artists like Post Malone drops a new song, it's like a big deal. Like he's one of those artists.
Yeah, I feel like he's his fire has like gotten a tiny bit smaller, but I feel what you mean.
Really, I feel like it's gotten bigger.
I feel like he's been on more stuff, but I feel like I don't know. It's like I feel like there's I know he's about to drop a new. Not about to, but I think he's gonna be dropping an album soon, and so I think he'll get that big album surge again. Like, cause I feel like people.
But his songs are just good, and you don't know what kind of artist he is. Like back in the day when he came out with White Iverson, it was like, are you like a white rapper?
I'm like,
but like now he's like a folk
R&B,
singer.
but he's.
But he can like do a hip hop beat, like you know what I'm saying. Like he has like.
He's interesting. Like I think
I like it.
I like his music.
When this song dropped, I first of all I just like the concept, but like it's just a really solid, smooth ass song. Is this
our second song called Circles on the?
It's possible. I might have started with.
The other Circles was the one by
Marcus Houston.
No, by you saw them. John Bellion. Circles. Crop Circles.
Oh, Crop Circles.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, essentially, you know, when it comes to Post Malone, this song is one of those songs that like I pay attention to songs that I've like replay. Like I'm like, oh my god, like I have to hear this again. It comes out like
that was like me with Without Me by Halsey.
Right. That type of song. You know, I usually get that way about Charlie Puth songs, Ed Sheeran songs.
Mm-hmm.
Like I mean, this podcast shows me doing that. But this song right here was like I literally took a nap over the 3-day weekend. I never take naps.
You needed it though. Your body said, "Yo."
Yeah, seriously, I could use a couple more of those. But I put this song on loop for like 2 hours, and it like just put me to bed. And I still was listening to it like all weekend and stuff. It's just a good song. So, you know, without further ado, why don't we just play it? Our slapper of the week is Circles by Post Malone, and it's really good. So I hope you guys enjoy it. Let's go.
Slapper of the week. This song slaps.
Slapper! Runaway by Post Malone. No, Runaway with Post Malone. Circles by Post Malone, our slapper of the week. You know, I think what I realized listening to that song, it's like it has a really like Stevie Nicks, Fleetwood Mac vibe. Yeah. So it's like feels really witchy. Ooh. I don't know why. Like it's like very like spooky. Wow,
getting into like fall, yo.
Right. Like I don't know. Get it?
Witch season.
Fat girl fall.
Took a DNA test. Turns out I'm 100% that witch.
Oh, dang, girl. Okay, double tap. Okay. Oh, yo, what do you got for some shout outs?
So I already shouted out Ian for his birthday. I wanted to shout out the boat crew. I wanted to shout out John V for setting it up and for Holly coming with me. I wanted to shout out my friend Abby for sending me some videos and pics from the Jonas Brothers concert, so I could kind of feel like I was there.
Aww.
So that was nice of her. As I sat home and I watched the
live stream,
the 2009 concert video that they have, and then I also rewatched their documentary on Amazon Prime.
Wow, you're really FOMO.
Yeah, I was in my feels about it, so I just kind of, I just leaned in. And then I wanted to shout out my friend Maggie because she is moving back to the ATL, and I'm so excited to have her back here, and I got to hang out with her this weekend. And so that was fun. We got to shoot the shit like we usually do.
Word. And
then I wanted to shout out my bestie Allison for just reaching out because she could feel the vibes that I wasn't feeling super great today. So it's good to always have friends, much like you, much like many of my friends and family, and even my boyfriend, who always know like how to be there.
Yeah. Well, Don't make me cry. Shout out to that. Wow. Okay. Well, a lot of people inspired you this week. Wow.
Yeah.
Well, my shout outs were really just like happy birthday to Victor, my brother-in-law.
Yeah.
Gonna soon be a father
soon to be a daddy.
Yeah, a baby boy here soon. And that's I told him, I was like, dude, enjoy this birthday. Last birthday, non-dad birthday. But also I wanted to shout out again my homie Sergio and his line, A Beautiful Struggle, and for the teeth, and for making sure that you go to absclothingline.com for all your gear. It's really comfortable. It's really swaggy. Very versatile. You could wear this out, or you could wear it for training. I don't know. You could do anything with it. It's really dope. So I really appreciate the love.
It can replace a free black fundraising T-shirt in your closet.
Right. And, it doesn't take much to get a shout out here. The dude threw me, some gear, and I'm going to love it, dude. I love free gear. So, no, I really do appreciate it. And everybody needs to go out and support each other and stuff. So, the way I see it is like, you got to support people, like, doing things. Like, that's what I'm trying to do more of. I think that's my New Year's resolution I'm starting this fall. So.
I think it's Rosh Hashanah, or is it Yom Kippur?
Yom Kippur.
Is that the Jewish New Year?
Yeah, I believe so.
I feel like I'm a bad Jewish ally right now, but one of those. That is coming up like soon. Okay. So like that could be your new year.
Yeah, I mean, honestly,
just be a Jew for this new year. A Jew new year.
I wish I could. It's Rosh Hashanah. Rosh Hashanah.
Rosh Hashanah, yeah.
Rosh Hashanah. That's going to be Sunday, September 29th.
So yeah,
and it ends October 1st. So they got a long New Year.
Yes.
I actually try to do my New Year's resolution like at the end of a year. Like, you know what I'm saying? So by the time you hit the top of the year, you're already like a head start.
See, for me,
killing it.
Because my birthday is near the beginning of the year, I just kind of like, January 18th rolls around. That's like, I'm like, okay, I'm actually like entering a new year of my life. Right. That's where I kind of like try to like, I do like more of my goal setting or planning or whatever in my passion planner, like leading up to that, because I obviously get a new one at each new year, and it's open and it's crisp and it's beautiful. And
weird flex.
I love a planner. But yeah,
I think I've turned into the weird flex guy.
you really have, like, and you're like 2 years too late, so it's kind of funny. It's kind of like, all right, buddy. It's like, wow, someone watched a YouTube video from 2 years ago.
I think I was talking about people like, because like when people are like, oh, you rich, like, like when people double up things and really like accentuate it. I'm like saying all those things now, but
wow.
Yeah. So those are my shout outs, man. Support more people. That's what I'm trying to do. So next week we got episode 77 coming your way.
Weird.
Yeah, it's just
lucky number 77.
Ooh, sounds kind of unlucky, but
no.
I don't know if we have anything planned for it, but we might get something special for it. I don't know.
Who knows?
Just depends on what this next week's gonna be like.
Yeah. Because you're gone this upcoming weekend, right?
Yeah, I'm going camping.
I'm here
in Asheville. So
okay, that's where you're going.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean it's called like Pisca or Pishka or something.
Pishka.
Pisca.
Pishka.
But yeah, I'm going up there, gonna be camping. So you guys might never see me again.
Okay, well.
I did get some new hiking shoes.
Teach me how to use this stuff before you leave.
Right. Yeah. Wait. How do you put this tent together? What's a sleeping bag?
Okay, so, I can tell you how to do that. You just tell me how to work the podcast.
You got a tent? Oh, okay. I see what you're saying. Just I'll give you the keys to my place and just take whatever you want and give the rest to my family. But just save something for my future nephew.
I have like your sister's number and stuff, so I'm just gonna be like, okay, so Palma.
Yeah, you guys should be you should be my new emergency contact. Actually, my sister, she won't be. Yeah, you guys gotta connect.
Yeah,
here we go.
I mean, you're in my favorites on my phone, so like your number will always come through.
Wow. Too much love. I need it. V, we gotta get out of here. Let's wrap this up. I love you. You love me.
We're one happy family.
Future Batch family. So we'll see you guys next week on Future Bachelor. My name is Sai.
I'm Veronica.
And we love you. See you next week. Deuces.
Future Bachelor Podcast.